Thank you, Ambassador Kacher. Good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends of GLOBSEC. Welcome to Bratislava, and thank you for coming here to take part in the 12th edition of GLOBSEC conference. I'm really pleased to see such an impressive lineup of speakers with excellent and deep knowledge of different aspects of foreign and security policy, and I'm looking forward to your presentations. And as we've heard, the organizers have prepared a very full program, and I'm glad that they've also added a new element to it, because indeed we know that the innovations, new technologies, information's age, and using and misusing these new technologies have become an inseparable part of security policy these days. Where we stand compared to a year ago. To begin on a positive note, yesterday's NATO summit produced some good messages, especially the strong message of transatlantic unity. United States reconfirmed their commitment to Europe, and Europe made a strong pledge to increase its defense spending. And the new building is great, by the way. But the general picture is not so positive. There are not many reasons to be more optimistic than last year, and if you remember, we were not at all optimistic last year. The world is not a safer place, continues to be full of uncertainties. Not only future predictions are hard to make, it's more and more difficult to assess what's going on right now. The raw power politics is still dominating, and the spiral of tensions continues to rise. Far too easily we are sliding back into traditional East-West confrontations and perceptions, while we have still not been able to resolve the long-standing North-South paradigm. In many corners of the world, anger and frustration is boiling between the rich and the poor. Mistrust has taken roots between political and economic elites and ordinary citizens. The information boom has been abused to blur facts and truth with illusions and lies. Cyber attacks are more frequent and systematic, brutally attacking even the civilian infrastructure. Hybrid threats have taken the unpredictability of the conflict to an unforeseen level. Chemical weapons are again being used on the battlefields almost with impunity. And all these phenomena shatter people's belief in governments and state institutions, placing democratic systems worldwide under doubt and peace under constant pressure. Moreover, the number of unsolved or new challenges is rising, with no solutions in sight. The European Union is losing its first member, which also contributes to a global feeling of instability. The new US administration has to deal with both expectations and questions alike. New and reborn powers seek their role and pursue their interests with clear determination. And worse, dialogue has become a last resort instead of being the first option to avoid confrontation. And thus, as a result, we lack common answers to those many serious problems, as if we forgot that in our globalized world, no state or even a region is able to cope with these challenges alone. In this scheme, I strongly believe the time is ripe for Europe to rise up with more self-confidence. 70 years ago, when George Marshall presented his groundbreaking plan, he used one sentence, very simple one, which was hidden in the text, but it was very relevant back then, and I think it's equally relevant today. And it says, the initiative, I think, must come from Europe, and the US should only help. Back then, as we know, it was more about economy. These days, it's about politics and security. But the message is the same. So I wish to see Europe, which is engaged and delivering, inside and outside. Otherwise, every next election in Europe will be a nail-biter, will be a fight between the pro-EU and anti-EU forces. The migration could spiral out of control again because, let's not forget, there are millions out there still wishing to get in. The terrorism will haunt Europeans, changing our way of life and questioning the very EU's raison d'etre. The Western Balkans could slide back into despair and nationalistic nightmare of the 90s. The Eastern partners will struggle to define their identity and to find their place on the map of the world. The transatlantic bond would falter. The European Union's soft power would fade away, and the EU itself might drift into irrelevance. So I think these are all very good reasons for us to expect and support the European Union to take its role as a global foreign and security player. To conclude, let me say a word about urgency. Yes, the pressure is in the air, and many are saying that we need to act quickly, and I agree to that. Time is not on our side, and many issues do require a swift action. Yet, let us not forget that in the end it's the strategic thinking that will prevail. In practical terms, it means leadership and vision, not just constantly reacting to the developments around us. No matter how difficult the issues around us are, hasty or instinctive reactions are not good enough. We need a bigger picture to be able to make a better assessment to plan our actions.